6 months after the mission to Earth, the Reclamation Alliance prepared for the inevitable confrontation. The Voidborn Dominion had discovered Haven's location and sent a massive fleet to destroy it. "They will reach our system in 3 days," Ellie told the gathered leaders of the Alliance. Her hair was now silver, but her eyes remained sharp and determined. Nina stood next to a holographic display of the approaching fleet. "We've upgraded all our ships with the new defense systems. Every vessel has the pulse technology that disrupts Voidborn systems." Aaron pointed to positions around Haven. "Our spy network has activated sleeper agents throughout Voidborn territory. They'll cause disruptions from within at the exact moment we engage their fleet." Representatives from 23 species nodded in agreement. Human ingenuity combined with the unique abilities of each Alliance member created a force unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. On the day of battle, 100 Alliance ships formed a defensive line at the edge of Haven's star system. Ellie watched from the command center as the massive Voidborn Armada emerged from faster-than-light travel. "They'd brought 500 ships," someone whispered. "It doesn't matter how many they brought," Ellie replied. "They still don't understand what they're fighting." The Voidborn Supreme's image appeared on the main screen. Its obsidian skin and glowing purple eyes looked just as they had 1,500 years ago, when they ordered Earth's destruction. "Humans," it hissed, "your continued existence is an error we will correct. Surrender now, and your allies will be spared." Ellie stood tall. "We do not surrender. We never have. You tried to erase us from history, but humanity has returned stronger than ever, and we bring with us the truth about what you are." The Supreme's eyes flashed with rage. "Then you will all be destroyed." The Voidborn ships advanced, firing energy weapons that lit up space like artificial stars. The smaller Alliance fleet held their position, activating Nina's defensive shields that absorbed and redirected the energy. "Now," Ellie commanded. Throughout the Voidborn fleet, systems suddenly failed. Ships lost power, weapons went offline, and communications scrambled. Aaron's network had successfully sabotaged key vessels from within. "All ships, engage pulse weapons," Nina ordered. Waves of energy spread from the Alliance ships, causing further chaos among the Voidborn fleet. The Alliance forces moved forward, targeting the weakened enemy vessels. On the Voidborn command ship, the Supreme watched in disbelief as their carefully ordered attack fell into disorder. "How is this possible? They are only humans." Back on Haven, Ellie directed the battle with calm precision. "Broadcast the truth to all Voidborn ships," she ordered. "Show them what we found on Earth." Every Voidborn vessel received the same transmission, evidence of how their leaders gained power from erasing civilizations, how they fed on extinction, how they feared species that could adapt and grow stronger. Many Voidborn ships stopped fighting. Some turned against their own command vessels. The carefully maintained order of the Dominion crumbled from within. The battle lasted for 7 hours. When it ended, the Voidborn fleet was in retreat. The Alliance had won. 1 year later, representatives from across the galaxy gathered on Earth. The once purple planet was slowly returning to its natural blue state as Alliance teams worked to restore its ecosystems. In what had once been a Voidborn command center, now stood a museum. Inside, the complete history of humanity was on display, along with records of all the civilizations the Voidborn had tried to erase. Ellie, now using a hover chair like Jack had in his final years, moved slowly through the exhibit halls. Nina and Aaron walked beside her, along with children and grandchildren none of them had imagined they would have. "Would Jack and Alice have believed this was possible?" Aaron asked. "That we would return to Earth? That we would defeat the Voidborn?" Ellie smiled. "They believed in humanity's future when there was no reason for hope. They would be proud to see what we've become." Outside the museum, ships from 100 worlds moved peacefully through Earth's skies. Human colonies spread throughout the galaxy, living alongside other species, sharing knowledge, and building a new civilization together. The Voidborn had tried to erase humanity from history. Instead, Humanity had written a new chapter, not just for themselves, but for every species that had faced extinction. They had returned, stronger than ever. The Reclamation Alliance grew stronger each month. Ships from New Eden joined Haven's fleet. Representatives from 12 oppressed species pledged their support. Together, they planned their resistance against the Voidborn Dominion. 1 year after discovering New Eden, Aaron received a shocking report from his spy network. Earth was not destroyed. He told Ellie and the Council. It was transformed. The Council chamber fell silent. My sources confirm it, Aaron continued. The Voidborn converted Earth into their central command base. They've been there all along. Nina looked up from her datapad. That explains the energy readings we've been detecting from that sector. We thought it was a Voidborn weapons facility. It is, Aaron said grimly. But it's more than that. They're using human genetic material to create biological weapons. Ellie's hands gripped the edge of the table. We need to see it for ourselves. We need proof. After weeks of planning, a small team prepared for the most dangerous mission yet, returning to Earth. The team included Aaron, Nina, and 5 specialists from other species in the Alliance. Their ship, disguised with advanced cloaking technology, approached the solar system cautiously. As they passed the outer planets, they saw massive Voidborn structures orbiting Jupiter and Saturn. Mining operations, whispered the Lumina scientist. They're harvesting resources from the gas giants. When they finally reached Earth, they barely recognized it. The blue planet was now dark purple, with massive black structures covering much of its surface. Voidborn ships moved in precise patterns around it. I'm detecting unusual energy signatures, Nina said. And life signs, some of them read as partially human. The team landed in a remote area that had once been the Siberian wilderness. Wearing stealth suits, they made their way toward a large facility built into a mountain. According to old Earth maps, this was a human military bunker, Aaron said. If any original human records survived, they might be here. Inside the facility, they discovered the terrible truth. The Voidborn had preserved parts of human civilization, not out of respect, but for study. They were analyzing human biology, psychology, and technology to create better weapons. Look at this, Nina called from a sealed room. Inside were thousands of data crystals. These are the original archives, our complete history. While Nina and the others downloaded the archives, Aaron explored deeper into the facility. In a massive chamber, he found rows of tanks filled with liquid. Inside each tank floated what appeared to be a human, but wrong somehow, altered with Voidborn features. They're trying to combine themselves with us, Aaron realized with horror. They're using human adaptability to improve their own species. A sudden alarm blared through the facility. They had been discovered. We have what we came for, Nina shouted over the noise. We need to leave now. The team ran for their ship as Voidborn guards closed in from all directions. Their Lumina scientist fell, hit by an energy blast. The others kept running, carrying the precious data archives. As their ship lifted off, Voidborn vessels surrounded them. Nina activated her experimental defense system. A pulse of energy shot out in all directions, temporarily disabling the pursuing ships. It worked, she cried. We have 30 seconds to clear the atmosphere. The ship broke through Earth's cloud cover, with Voidborn vessels in close pursuit. Just before the enemy could fire, they jumped to faster-than-light travel. Back on Haven, the Alliance leaders gathered to review what they had found. The human archives contained everything: art, literature, science, history, the complete record of human civilization that the Voidborn had tried to erase. But most important were the files that revealed the Voidborn's true nature. They feed on extinction, Ellie said, reading the findings. Not physically, but somehow they gain power from erasing civilizations. That's why they've hidden the truth. That's why they fear us. Nina pointed to another file. And look at this. They specifically fear human adaptability. We change. We evolve faster than any species they've encountered. That's why they're trying to use our genetics. Then we need to do what humans do best, Aaron said. Adapt and overcome. And now we know exactly how to hurt them. Haven became a beacon of hope for species suffering under Voidborn rule. Ships arrived weekly, carrying refugees seeking freedom. The human population welcomed them, sharing their resources and knowledge. We were once refugees ourselves, Ellie reminded the council when some voiced concerns about the growing number of aliens. We cannot turn them away. 5 years after joining the Galactic Concord, Haven's spaceports bustled with activity. Humans worked alongside 20 different species. Together, they built better ships, weapons, and defensive systems. In her laboratory, Nina Moore, Ellie's 20-year-old daughter, studied her grandmother's old notes. Alice Wade had died 3 years ago, but her research lived on through Nina. "Mom, look at this," Nina called as Ellie entered the lab. She pointed to formulas on her screen. "Grandmother's notes on advanced energy weapons. I think I can make them work." Ellie studied the complex equations. Alice was always ahead of her time. "If you can build these, we might stand a chance against Voidborn ships." "I'll need resources and a team," Nina said. "You'll have whatever you need," Ellie promised. Across the city, Aaron Peters met with his network of spies. As head of Haven's security forces, he had spent years building connections throughout Voidborn territory. "Our agents report increased Voidborn fleet movements near the Zentara system," said a reptilian operative. "They're searching for something." Aaron's face darkened. "Not something. Someone. Us." "There's more," the operative continued. "We've received a transmission from an uncharted system. It appears to be human." Aaron stood up so quickly his chair fell backward. "That's impossible. All humans are here on Haven." The signal was weak, but clear. They identified themselves as the colony of New Eden. Said they'd been trying to contact other humans for centuries. Word spread quickly through Haven. They were not alone. Other colony ships might have escaped Earth's destruction. Others might have survived. Ellie called an emergency council meeting. "We must send a ship to investigate this signal," she said. "If there are other human colonies, we need to find them before the Voidborn do." A week later, Aaron led a mission to the coordinates from the mysterious signal. Their ship, the Remembrance, was Haven's most advanced vessel, equipped with Nina's experimental cloaking technology. After 5 days of travel, they reached a small star system with a habitable planet. As they approached, 3 ships rose to meet them. "This is Captain Lydia Foster of New Eden Colony," came a voice over the comm. "Identify yourselves." "This is Aaron Peters of Haven Colony," he replied, his voice shaking. "We are humans from Earth." There was a long silence. Then, "Prove it. Tell us something only humans would know." Aaron thought quickly. Earth had 1 moon. The sky was blue. The oceans were salt water. We evolved from primates. Shakespeare wrote plays. We had a drink called coffee. The comm crackled with what sounded like laughter and crying mixed together. "Welcome, brothers and sisters," Lydia said. "We've been waiting a very long time." On the planet's surface, Aaron and his team were greeted by a crowd of humans. They looked different, their skin darker, their bodies shorter and more compact. But they were undeniably human. "When our ship's drive malfunctioned, we ended up here," Lydia explained as they walked through New Eden's main settlement. "We thought we were the only survivors. We've been sending signals for centuries." "There may be others," Aaron said. "Other ships that escaped in different directions." "The Voidborn have found some of us before," Lydia said grimly. 3 years ago, they discovered a small human colony in the Proxima sector. They destroyed it completely. Aaron's communicator beeped with an urgent message from Haven. Nina had completed her new weapons system. Ellie was forming an alliance with other species oppressed by the Voidborn. They were calling it the Reclamation Alliance. "You've come just in time," Aaron told Lydia. "We're preparing to fight back. Will you join us?" Lydia smiled. "We've been ready for 1,500 years." 50 years passed on Haven. The small settlement of New Hope grew into a thriving city. Humans spread across the continent, building farms, factories, and research centers. They lived in peace with the Lumina, learning from each other. Jack Reeves, now an old man with white hair, sat in a hover chair on the balcony of the government building. At 98 years old, he had lived to see humanity reborn. Beside him sat Alice Wade, equally aged, but still sharp of mind. "The council meeting is about to start," said Ellie Moore, now a woman of 45. "They're waiting for you both." Jack smiled at her. "The old dinosaurs like us should step aside. This is your time now." "We still need your wisdom," Ellie said, helping Jack guide his chair inside. The council chamber was filled with humans and Lumina representatives. Maps and holograms showed the settlements that now dotted Haven's surface. The human population had grown to over 100,000. "The Deep Space Communications Array is finally complete," announced Aaron Peters, son of the now-deceased Chief Gregory. "We can now receive signals from across the galaxy." "And what news does the galaxy bring?" asked Alice. Aaron's face grew serious. "The Voidborn Dominion continues to expand. They now control over a third of known space, and they still teach that humans were monsters who nearly destroyed the galaxy before they were wiped out." Jack shook his head. "All this time, and they're still afraid of us." Ellie stood up. "I believe it's time to end our isolation. We have rebuilt our strength. We have advanced our technology. We should join the Galactic Concord." The Galactic Concord was an alliance of free worlds that opposed the Voidborn Dominion. The Lumina were already members. "If we reveal ourselves, the Voidborn will come for us again," said an older council member. "They will find us eventually," Ellie replied. "Better to meet them with allies at our side." After much debate, the council voted. Humanity would send representatives to the Concord. Ellie would lead the mission. 3 months later, Ellie stood before the Concord Assembly on the neutral world of Zentera. Representatives from 200 species filled the massive chamber. None of them had seen a human before. "Distinguished representatives," Ellie began, "I come to you from a world called Haven. My people are humans, survivors of a civilization that the Voidborn tried to erase from history 1,500 years ago." Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber. Many delegates stood up in shock. "Humans are a myth," said the representative from the Krith Empire. "A cautionary tale about aggression and violence." "We are quite real," Ellie replied calmly. "And the tale of our destruction was a lie. We seek to join the Concord and share our knowledge, our resources, and our strength in the face of Voidborn expansion." The assembly erupted in chaos. Some species welcomed the humans with excitement. Others reacted with fear and suspicion. The Lumina representative spoke in defense of humans, describing their peaceful coexistence on Haven. As the debate raged, a message arrived from Haven. Jack Reeves had died peacefully and in his sleep. He had lived just long enough to see humanity rejoin the galactic community. Ellie grieved privately, then returned to the assembly with renewed determination. "My people have survived extinction. We have crossed 1,500 years of space and time. We have rebuilt our civilization from nothing. We will not hide in the shadows any longer." In the following weeks, delegations from across the Concord visited Haven. They saw the truth of human civilization. Not the monsters of Voidborn propaganda, but a resilient species who had overcome impossible odds. Word spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Humans had returned. In the dark chambers of the Voidborn Dominion capital, the news was met with disbelief, then fury. The species they had tried to erase had somehow survived. "Find them," ordered the Voidborn Supreme. "Find every last human and complete what we started 1,500 years ago." But the humans of Haven were no longer alone and defenseless. This time, they had allies. This time, they were ready. Jack opened his eyes for the first time in 1,500 years. The cryopod lid slid away with a soft hiss. His muscles felt weak, but his mind was surprisingly clear. A robotic arm helped him sit up. "Welcome back, Commander Reeves," Hope's voice said. "Current date is 3657 by Earth calendar. Revival process is proceeding as planned." Jack looked around the medical bay. Other pods were opening. People were waking up, assisted by medical drones. He recognized Alice Wade being helped to a sitting position across the room. "Where are we?" Jack asked, his voice rough from centuries of disuse. "We have arrived at a habitable star system," Hope replied. "The third planet matches 89% of Earth's conditions. I have designated it Haven." Alice walked slowly toward Jack, her legs unsteady. "The faster-than-light drive malfunctioned," she said. "We went much farther than planned." "Everyone else?" Jack asked. 41,392 humans survived the journey. "Hope," he reported. "Revival will occur in stages over the next month." Jack stood up carefully. His body felt strange after so long a sleep. He walked to the observation window and looked out at their new home. Haven was beautiful. Blue oceans, green and brown landmasses, white clouds swirling in the atmosphere. 3 small moons orbited the planet. "Just like in my dreams," he whispered. Alice joined him at the window. "You dreamed of this place." Jack nodded. For centuries, it was always the same planet. In the days that followed, more humans awoke from cryosleep. Scientists studied scans of Haven. Engineers prepared landing craft. Security teams trained for possible threats. Everyone worked to prepare for humanity's new beginning. Chief Gregory Peters, the newly awakened head of security, organized teams to explore the planet's surface. "We need to be careful," he told Jack. "We don't know what's waiting for us down there." "The scans show plant life and small animals," Dr. Daniel Ross, a xenobiologist, reported. "Nothing that appears immediately dangerous. The air is breathable. The water is clean." 1 week after the first awakenings, the landing parties touched down on Haven's surface. Jack stepped out of the shuttle onto soft, blue-green grass. The air smelled fresh and slightly sweet. A gentle breeze rustled through nearby trees with purple leaves. "It's perfect," Alice said, standing beside him. Over the next months, the humans established their first settlement. They named it New Hope. They built shelters, planted crops from seeds they had brought from Earth, and explored the surrounding area. 5 years after landing, the first child was born on Haven. Her parents named her Ellie Moore. She had bright eyes that seemed to take in everything around her. As Ellie grew, she showed an unusual connection to the technology they had brought from Earth. By age 7, she could repair complex systems that even the engineers struggled with. "It's like she can talk to the machines," her teacher said to Alice, who was now the settlement's lead scientist. On Ellie's 10th birthday, the humans made their first contact with Haven's native intelligent species. They called themselves the Lumina, tall, slender beings with skin that glowed softly in the darkness. They approached New Hope with curiosity rather than fear. "We have watched you for many cycles," their leader said through a translation device. "We wish to learn about your kind." Jack, now gray-haired but still commanding, welcomed them. "We are humans. We came from a planet called Earth, very far from here." The Lumina leader tilted its head. "Humans, the lost ones, the ones the Voidborn destroyed." Jack and Alice exchanged shocked looks. The Lumina knew about humans, and they knew about the Voidborn. "We thought all knowledge of our species had been erased," Alice said. "Not erased," the Lumina replied. "Forbidden. The Voidborn rule much of the galaxy now. They call themselves the Eternal Dominion. They teach that humans were dangerous monsters who had to be destroyed for the safety of all." Jack stepped forward. "We are not monsters. We are survivors. And we need to know everything about what has happened in the galaxy since we left." The Lumina nodded. "Then we have much to share." The 12 colony ships sailed through the darkness of space. Inside each vessel, Thousands of humans slept in their cryopods, unaware of the passing years. In the control center of Colony Ship 6, the AI system HFY monitored all functions, keeping the sleeping passengers safe. Warning: faster-than-light drive malfunction detected, HFY announced to the empty room. The experimental drive that Dr. Wade had designed was failing. Energy readings spiked dangerously on the monitors. HFY activated emergency protocols, adjusting course, extending cryosleep duration. Estimated arrival time at nearest habitable system, unknown. The ship shuddered as the drive failed completely. A bright flash of energy engulfed all 12 ships, pushing them far beyond their planned coordinates. When the light faded, the stars around them were unfamiliar. They had jumped much farther than intended. In his cryopod, Jack Reeves dreamed. He saw Earth as it once was, blue and beautiful. He saw cities burning as the Voidborn attacked. He saw Sand's ship exploding in a ball of fire. Then he saw something new, a green planet with 3 small moons, waiting somewhere in the vastness of space. Years passed, then decades, then centuries. Hope and the other ship AIs continued their watch. They made minor course corrections, repaired small damages, and kept the cryopods functioning. Sometimes they encountered other spacecraft, alien vessels that approached with curiosity, but never with knowledge of what humans were. Unknown vessel detected. HFY recorded in the ship's log during year 367 of the journey. Communication attempted. Species calls themselves the Zethri. They have no records of human civilization. The Voidborn erasure appears complete. The Zethri ships followed for a time, studying the silent colony vessels. They left research probes that HFY carefully disabled. No one must know what the ships carried. In year 512, 3 of the colony ships suffered severe damage passing through an asteroid field. HFY recorded ships 3, 8, and 10 showing critical damage, transferring survivors to remaining vessels. Updated human count: 41,392 still in stable cryosleep. By year 700, stories of the ghost ships spread through the galaxy. Some alien species called them the Wanderers or the Sleepers. None connected them to the erased civilization of humans that existed only as a warning tale told by the Voidborn. In her cryopod, Dr. Alice Wade's brain showed unusual activity patterns. She was not fully conscious, but not completely asleep either. Her mind worked through problems, running calculations, and making adjustments to ship systems through her neural interface. Anomaly detected in cryopod 1156. HFY noted. Subject: Dr. Alice Wade. Brain activity exceeds normal parameters. Memory consolidation occurring despite cryostasis. Decision: allow process to continue under observation. Through this half-conscious state, Alice guided needed repairs to the navigation systems. She could not speak or move, but her mind connected with HFY, working to find a new destination. 1,000 years into the journey, the ships passed through a region of space controlled by a peaceful species called the Lumina. The Lumina ships approached with caution. "We sense life within your vessels," they communicated. "Who travels on this endless path?" HFY did not answer. The ships continued their silent journey. In his dreams, Jack saw the green planet again. It was closer now. He could see oceans and continents. He could see places where cities might someday stand. "Home," he whispered from within his dream. "We're almost home." In the 15th century of their journey, HFY detected the star system from Jack's dreams. 9 planets orbited a yellow sun. The 3rd planet showed readings similar to Earth: oxygen atmosphere, liquid water, moderate temperatures. Destination identified. HFY announced to the empty control room. Beginning approach procedures. Preparing for gradual revival of essential personnel. The ships slowed as they entered the outer reaches of the star system. Their long journey was approaching its end. Humanity had crossed a vast distance, preserved in their sleeping state. The question remained: Would they awaken to a new beginning, or find only more danger waiting in this distant corner of the galaxy? After 1,500 years of silent travel, the time had come to find out. The first colony ship rose from its underground hangar, engines glowing bright against the night sky. Inside the control room, Alice's fingers flew across the console as she monitored the launch sequence for all 12 vessels. Each one carried over 4,000 sleeping humans in cryopods, preserved for a journey that might last decades or centuries. Ship 1 is clear, she announced. Beginning launch sequence for Ship 2. Jack stood behind her, watching as humanity's final hope took flight. His communicator buzzed with urgent messages from defense stations around the world. The Voidborn were advancing everywhere. Commander Reeves, Sam's voice crackled through the speaker. We've got a problem. The aliens have discovered the launch site. They're sending ships to intercept. Jack's jaw tightened. How many? At least 30 fighters and 2 capital ships. We can't stop them all. Alice looked up at Jack, fear clear in her eyes. If they take out even one colony ship, we lose thousands of people we can't replace. Jack made his decision quickly. Sam, gather every fighter we have left. Form a defensive line between the colony ships and the Voidborn. Yes, sir, Sam replied. And sir, it's been an honor. Jack knew what those words meant. It was a suicide mission. Outside, the night sky filled with explosions as Earth's remaining fighters engaged the alien vessels. The colony ships continued to launch one by one, rising slowly at first, then accelerating toward space. Inside Colony Ship 6, technicians made final preparations before joining the others in cryosleep. The ship's AI system, named HFY, ran through its activation protocols. Life support systems online. Navigation systems online. Cryopod functions stable. HFY reported in a calm female voice. Preparing for faster-than-light travel once clear of solar system. On the ground, Alice watched the monitors as ship after ship cleared Earth's atmosphere. 9 ships away, she reported. 3 more to go. A massive explosion rocked the facility. Dust and concrete fell from the ceiling. They found us, Jack said. We need to move faster. Alice's hands shook as she initiated the launch sequence for the 10th ship. The last 2 ships aren't fully loaded yet. Load whoever you can, Jack ordered. We have no choice. On the battlefield above, Sam piloted his fighter directly into the path of an alien destroyer. His squadron followed close behind, forming a living shield between the enemy and the escaping colony ships. All pilots, target their main weapons, Sam called out. Give the colony ships time to get clear. His fighter took a direct hit, systems failing all around him. With his last functioning controls, Sam locked his ship on a collision course with the alien vessel's main cannon. For Earth, he whispered as his fighter crashed into the Voidborn ship, causing a chain reaction that temporarily disabled its weapons. Back at the launch facility, Jack helped the last civilians board Colony Ship 12. Alice, you need to go too, he said. They'll need your knowledge of the ship systems. Alice shook her head. Not without you. A second explosion hit closer than the first. Part of the ceiling collapsed. I'll be right behind you, Jack promised. Someone needs to make sure the launch controls work manually now that the main systems are damaged. Alice knew he was lying, but she also knew her duty. With a final look at Jack, she ran toward the ship. Jack returned to the control room alone. The facility was coming apart around him. He activated the final launch sequence, watching as the last 2 ships rose from their hangars. Through the facility's remaining cameras, Jack saw the Voidborn landing outside. They moved with unsettling grace, their dark forms flowing like liquid shadow. As the 12th ship cleared the atmosphere, Jack sent one final message. This is Commander Jack Reeves of Earth. Remember us. Then he set the facility's reactors to overload. In space, Alice watched from the viewport as a bright flash lit up a section of Earth's surface. Tears streamed down her face as the ship's AI prepared the cryopods for activation. Course set, Hope announced, preparing for faster-than-light jump. The stars stretched into lines of light as the colony ships, carrying the last free humans in existence, vanished into the depths of space. Behind them, the Voidborn began their systematic erasure of humanity from history. The sky above Earth burned red as the sun set on what might be humanity's final day. Commander Jack Reeves stood at the viewport of Earth Defense Station Alpha, his tired eyes fixed on the massive alien ships that hung like dark shadows against the stars. They had arrived 3 weeks ago. They called themselves the Voidborn. "Commander, we've received another transmission from their flagship," said Lieutenant Sam Miller, his voice steady despite the fear everyone felt. Jack nodded. "Put it through." The air shimmered as the holographic image of the Voidborn ambassador appeared. Their form was tall and slender with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed with an unnatural purple light. "Humans of Earth, our patience grows thin. You have 24 hours to surrender your world and accept your place under our rule, or we will begin the cleansing." The message ended abruptly. Jack turned to face the crowded command center. Men and women worked frantically at their stations, monitoring evacuation efforts and defense systems. Earth had fought well, but their weapons barely scratched the alien vessels. "What's the status on the evacuations?" Jack asked. 60% of the designated population has reached the underground bunkers, replied a young officer with red-rimmed eyes. Mars colony has gone silent. The lunar bases are under heavy attack. Jack closed his eyes briefly. 2 billion souls saved, perhaps. Not nearly enough. "And Project Lifeboat?" he asked more quietly. Sam handed him a tablet. "Dr. Wade says they're ready. All 12 ships. But they need 6 more hours to finish loading the cryopods." In a research facility hidden beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Alice Wade worked without rest. Her hands moved quickly over control panels as she checked the status of the massive colony ships that represented humanity's last hope. Power systems at 98%, life support functioning within optimal parameters, reported her assistant. Alice nodded. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and dark circles shadowed her eyes. She hadn't slept in 3 days. "Begin loading the final group of candidates." She watched through the observation window as the last of the carefully selected 50,000 humans entered the facility. Scientists, engineers, artists, farmers, all chosen for their skills and genetic diversity, all that might remain of humanity after tomorrow. The ground shook. Another attack. Closer this time. Alice's phone buzzed. Jack's face appeared on the screen. "They're moving in earlier than expected," he said, his voice tight. "We can't hold them off much longer." "We need more time," Alice pleaded. "That's the one thing I can't give you," Jack replied. "Get those ships ready to launch. I'm coming down with the defense codes. We launch in 2 hours." In the skies above, Sam piloted his fighter through a storm of energy blasts. 3 other ships from his squadron flew in formation with him, providing cover for a transport shuttle carrying civilians to the bunkers. "Keep it tight, Falcon Squad," Sam called over the comm. "These people are counting on us." A blast rocked his ship, sending morning lights flashing across his console. "I'm hit but still flying," he reported. "Get that transport to the ground." On the command deck of the defense station, Jack gave his final orders. "All remaining ships, focus on creating a corridor for the colony vessels. Once Project Lifeboat launches, everyone falls back to evacuation points." He stepped into the elevator that would take him to the surface. From there, a fast transport waited to carry him to the mountain facility. As the elevator descended, Jack looked at the small photo he kept in his pocket. His parents and sister smiling on a sunny day before anyone knew about threats from beyond the stars. He put it away as the doors opened. The transport sped through empty streets. Most cities were abandoned now, their populations either dead or evacuated. In the distance, an alien ship fired on what remained of Chicago, the buildings crumbling like sandcastles. By the time Jack reached the mountain facility, the first of the colony ships was already preparing for launch. "They've begun ground attacks," he told Alice as they hurried through the facility's corridors. "We're out of time." Alice's face was pale but determined. "Then we go now. Ready or not." Outside, humanity made its final stand as the fleet of colony ships prepared to carry the last hope of mankind into the stars.